Hi everyone, my name is Lily Taylor-Stackhouse. That's my little head up in the left-hand corner. I'm going into my final year of environmental engineering and I'm passionate about international development. This summer I have had the privilege of working with a wonderful team spearheaded by Dr. Daniela Senkl in Department of Management in the Lang School of Business. Our project is titled Accounting for Community Wellbeing in Ghana's Gold Mining Industry. The purpose of this project is to assess how to best understand, support, and protect the well-being of people living in mining host communities in Ghana, West Africa. Ghana has been a gold mining hub for hundreds of years. Originally, the country was peppered with small-scale operations, but it has come to be a hotspot for Western mining companies to set up operations. This has happened through colonialism and also through more modern Western development efforts in Africa. In the process of establishing and maintaining these operations and mining companies introduce a power dynamic into communities that didn't previously exist. It has been found through many studies across the African continent that mining companies can cause significant harm to these communities when they don't fully understand or assess the impacts of their actions. This is an ongoing problem because there's no clear path to improving company-community relationships. Each community is unique and has its own set of needs, meaning that oversimplified community engagement strategies are bound to leave both parties dissatisfied. To understand this problem, I investigated and compiled the current sets of well-being indicators. This includes the work of Mark Anelski, author of The Economics of Happiness, who developed a new way of assessing Canadian and American well-being beyond simple figures like GDP or access to healthcare and education, and rather focused on an individual and community's values to assess their well-being. Other indicators investigated included Bhutan's Gross National Happiness Framework, the SCG indicators, and a more comprehensive framework developed for mining communities called Beyond Zero Harm. I also conducted a literature search to assess the current academic understanding of mining companies' corporate social responsibility practices in Africa. This was further narrowed down to the experiences of specific stakeholders in Ghana's mining communities and their perceptions of CSR. Corporate social responsibility, or CSR, is a relatively recent practice across industries that provokes companies to put their efforts towards people and the planet rather than just profit. This is why this is relevant to understanding how companies relate to communities. The results of this investigation yielded conclusive evidence that community-company relationships are not an ongoing challenge in African mining. Four key findings I'd like to highlight from this are the topics of social licensing, community impacts, well-being indicators, and women in mining. A mine's social license to operate is their unspoken social permission to operate without inducing backlash. Adhering to a broad and unspecific CSR plan and carefully reporting their actions usually grants a company this social license. The social license, however, is an abstract concept and not concrete evidence of ethical behavior. Many companies maintain this social permission by covering up any actions that contradict their desired public perception. The range of these actions is broad and impact communities in different ways. Some companies implement development projects without consulting with communities, leading to redundant infrastructure. For example, a mine may address an education issue by building a school, while the community perceives their biggest barrier to education is the low quality of roads between their homes and schools. In other cases, the impacts are much more severe. There are multiple examples of mines polluting water sources, and further downstream, this causes entire communities that depend on those water sources to go blind. These examples are very different, but both reflect a lack of common understanding between the two parties. To improve these relationships, mines need to understand what is important to communities. Well-being indicators are a method of understanding where progress is needed and which aspects of a community are the most vulnerable. These indicators cannot be widely assumed and have been shown to vary between neighboring communities. Factors like tribal history, language, culture, relationships to land, and more can change which parts of a community need support and which are at risk of harm. Furthermore, the studies that exist on mining stakeholders, both in the form of academic literature and company reports, do not reflect how mining impacts different social groups differently. Women are globally underrepresented and underrespected, and mining is the most male-dominated industry in the world. This exasperates the challenges that women face while interacting with mines either as an employee or as a community member. This information presents a couple of different avenues for next steps. I have translated the research gathered from exploring well-being indicators and performing a literature review into a guide for open-ended interviews and focus group discussions with Ghanaian community members. Having these conversations is the next step for understanding how to best serve our target communities. A special focus of ongoing conversations and research will be given to women's and LGBT issues to begin filling the gap in current understanding of those stakeholders. This will contribute to ultimately forming a set of recommendations for mining companies to implement into their community relationships. Preliminary conversations have already been had with Canadian mining stakeholders to affirm the direction and focus of this project. I'm excited to continue with this project and form a deeper understanding of how to support foreign communities without enforcing paternalistic principles. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video.